Hello, welcome to Matt's Rocks. Uh, hope, uh, Today I'm going to be working on this Oulitic. I think it's Oulitic Jasper. I'm not sure. It may just be some other kind of. It may have another name. I'm not sure. But those little eyes are like tubes, so the inclusions are tube inclusions. But I tumbled it, but it's still pretty rough. It's got some fractures on it. I'm going to go ahead and try to make a cab out of it. Get all those fractures and chips out and bugs and shape it up a little better, make it a little bit thinner because it is a little bit on the thick side. So we'll start on the 800 grit and go, or 80 grit, and go from there. Let me go ahead and zoom in and get the camera pointed to where I need it, so you guys can see better. Okay, just making sure. That little bitty 1-inch screen on there is a little bit on the small side for my old eyes with these 3-powered reading glasses. They won't focus out far enough. I'm hoping I can keep this pattern all the way through, because I'm going to take quite a bit off of the one side, and I think it's probably going to be this one because of these fractures. But I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to go down on all the sides a little ways because there's inclusions everywhere, little fractures. Let's see what we got. It's going to be hard to keep a hold of until it gets good and wet and my fingers get good and wet. I'll try just to take this side down until I get through the fractures and stuff, and keep all the patterns that I can. It looks like some of it's coming off already. The pattern, I mean. I don't know, it still looks pretty good though. It still looks better on that side than it does on this side. It's got more black on this other side, but it's also got like fortification lines in it. Or that is Oulitic Jasper. You can see the fortification lines in it. I didn't notice that till I got it wet. Hopefully that shows up on there in the lighter red part of it. Fortification lines. And then there's more on the front. Also, they're not quite as prominent as the other one, so that probably didn't help. I'll let it get dry on you. Work on both faces, and then maybe straighten out the weird shapes on the edges. This one's kind of rounded, and this one's kind of straight and then rounded. And I want to get that a lot thinner than that. I want to get it like a third that thickness, or 2/3 of that thickness, about. That's a lot of grinding, so this might be a long video. bad. I can't see my pits and my vugs anymore. Pits and or vugs, whatever they call them. Whatever you want to call them. There. That's a fracture. Okay, I know I got to go over the whole thing, but I want to find the worst one. So I've got quite a few of them down here on this end. I've got most of it out. I still got a big one right here. You can see it right there. Still got some shiny on this edge of it, but it comes around like this. I couldn't see that when it was wet. And plus, I think I had the stone oriented. This side was down. Yeah, this was the downside. I need to round that off a little more. I'm gonna have to take it down further, but still. Fingers dried off. And the scum was slipping on there. Finally got some water on it where I can keep the grip on it. When it's shiny like this, if it's dry, you can't grip it. Get it wet, you can grip it pretty easy. It makes your fingers moisture where they stick to it a little better. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that down quite a ways yet. Both sides. Hey, well, you can see the lighter dot, but it looks like there's a water drop right in the middle of that. Now you can see it, it's darker. That's still some of the polish. That's that pit that I was talking about, or concave center. Didn't take long to get it out of there. That's good. I didn't think it would. It covered most of that side of the rock. Just had a little lip all the way around it. It's fairly long too. I got it that time. Oh good, that was it. There's a fracture there. Guess I'll just keep going. At least on that side, that corner. See if I can't get that fracture out. They don't go all the way through. I don't know how they got there. Looks like it's healed up. So it's got black stuff in it. So I think it's healed up. Okay, I gotta dry this off and look for my fractures again. I've gotten through, well, the big part of them, but I don't know whether they're gone or not. Wow. Talk about just a little bit of old finish left on there. There's a couple little pieces there too. A little bit there. There's a fracture. fracture there. This is a fracture, but and I think it's filled in with, there's also some pits going along this way. So I'm going to have to round that out some more. And I still got a bug here, fracture here that comes up and around. Follows that, it's just wet, it's not shiny, it's just wet because that's an indentation, so it's taking that one, it's longer to dry. Gotta get that off, so let's go back to this face again. Might as well round that bottom end off too. Gotta take some more thickness out of this. It is slower, it's not as hard. And the longer it's in contact with that stone, it's cutting it, or with that wheel. As long as it's in contact with that wheel. Doesn't matter how fast I go, as long as I do it in even strokes. Otherwise you end up with a lip going across this way where it drops down. And sometimes you'll get, it starts looking a little lopsided, like this side's higher than this side. It's looking at this side, it just looks like this side's thicker than this side, so now I've got a low spot on there where I've tried to straighten, or a low spot on this side where I've tried to straighten it out before, and that's why it's got a low spot and a high spot. George, I believe I've got it, mostly. There's still a few little pits there. Let me dry this whole thing off and see what I got left as far as bugs and fractures. I think I've got most of them off of there, just maybe a few bugs left. Yep, you can see 2 fractures there. This one going down through there. I'm not going to get it all out of there because I've got a little one up here too. And this one over here is just pits, a little bit of pitting left, a little bit of a fracture there, a little bit of a fracture there. Still got pits. Fracture there. Howdy. sharp, I think. There was a nice little pattern on there. You don't want to lose, so I don't want to round it off too much, because I think it's going to look cool. This pattern down here on the bottom. I hope it's coming out where you can see it. It's kind of got some bright red swirls in there. You'll be able to see it when I get it polished, that's for sure. And they've got some depth to them, like there's agate on that corner. So this may be a jasp agate, by golly. Let me see if I got all my fractures and bugs out. I still got some more on the bottom here. Another fracture anyway. A little short one. Right there. And this one here, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a whole lot with. Let it dry up enough here where you can still see the fracture. There you can see the fracture on the end. It's got some space in it. Chips out of it. It being the bottom part of the stone, I may be able to get it out with this 220 grit. I think I'm ready for the 220 grit now. I've got enough of the fractures out and the bugs out. I got another little chip right there that I didn't see. That's alright though. Oh, I've got some more up here too. That's what I get for not letting it dry all the way before I decide to go on. I can probably get them out better with this smaller grit wheel though. So I think I can do it without chipping it anymore. Oh, I still got that fracture there that I've been working on. I thought I had it out already. Oh well. We'll go to the 220 or 240. Work it out there. At least I don't have any more shiny left on it. That I need to worry about getting out. Be running pretty good now. I can feel the coolness coming in the window behind me. Got it. Okay, let's go to the 280 grit. Not a bad shape. Let me wet this down so you can see the colors. All that, see if I can get it showed off and turned around before it loses it. There's that nice banded piece on the bottom right there. Oops. Looking at the stone, not looking at the camera. And there's the top. It's got some nice little dark inclusions on it too. Okay, I don't know why I had to dry that off. I'm fixing to get it wet again anyhow. Water off of it, so I think I'm ready to go to 600. Still got a little bit of a pocket right there. Like a chip came off, or it was the bottom of a bug that had white in it, but I just got all the white out of, but didn't get the dark out of. Actually, I got all the dark out of it too. I don't think it had any dark in it because it was still red all the way across. And it was right next to the fracture, so. But I got it off now. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to do much with that little fracture there. And that little bug's been filled in. It's just a lighter color. A little bit of scratchy there. Side to side. Not hard to get off. Cool. Okay, we're ready for the next wheel. No, I'm not a neat freak. I just don't like getting that crap on me. I've got a bad eye. I got Bell's palsy and I can't close my right eye real good, so it gets dried out because it don't blink quite as good as the other one does, and it gets dried out. I have to rub it quite often with all that crap on my fingers, all that powder. I don't want to do that. So I want to keep as much of that white powder to a minimum as I can. There we go. Now you can see this wheel. Rough spot like peeling paint on that edge up there. Hit it on the edge of a stone and just hit that little portion on the, not on the stone, on the wheel somewhere. And that's what made it look like a flake of paint missing. Just a single scratch, not a line scratch, just a dull spot. So I just barely tapped it probably. You don't put enough pressure on it, it'll leave it rough. Put too much pressure on it, it'll cut it out in layers, especially if it's layered rock to begin with, like this other piece of jasper. This stripe, oh crap. I was just trying to think of the name. Banded jasper. Where the bands were laid down a little at a time. It's like a water lines in an agate. Filled in a layer at a time, solidified, filled up more liquid, solidified, filled up more liquid, solidified. And the inclusions is what makes the color. This is probably banded iron. I think this is chalcedony in this one. I haven't hit it with a flashlight yet. I don't know why I've got one in my pocket. Nope, it's iron. It's not clear. Either that or it's smoky quartz. And it's just not allowing the light to go through because it's got dark stuff on either side of the chalcedony, more than likely. Okay, I think I'm just about ready to take this to the next wheel. One last look around. If I got any more of those little rough spots. I do, right there. We'll probably get them out on the next wheel because it's not scratches, it's just a rough, just a cloudy or a dull spot. It only takes a second to get it out of there. And I'm sure that 1200 grit will take it out. Okay, I'm ready. Ready for the 1200. I'm glad when I get done with the 3000 because this is the second stone today, and the first one was 2.5 hours, and this one's been 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think. Maybe less. I don't remember exactly when I come back in here when my brother interrupted me. There's that white bar or lighter colored filled in fracture or whatever the heck it is. Inclusion. That was looking like a dull spot. It's also got a few little pits in it. I spotted that, so I decided I'd work on that first. Normally I'm just going to do the whole outside thinner edge, short edge first. Going this way, and then I'll turn it sideways and go long ways on the edges. And then I'll do one face, and then I'll do the other face. I do have some cloudy stuff on this other little black eye above the darker inclusion in this eye here. It was just a dull spot. Still got a little bitty. They're micro-sized, so I'm not going to worry about them too much. I got a little bit of cloudiness, but that'll probably work out on the next wheel too. Still got that fracture going right in there, but it's not chipped out real bad, so I do have a little bit of chips underneath it. That area that I said looked like the stone had stretched. Got a little bit of dark in that center too. Or dull in the center of that inclusion, or black eye. I don't imagine I'm going to get those little places that look like it's stretched all the way out, but at least I'll make them where there's not as much of a gap in them as there was, and cut it down and close that gap up. It makes it a little bit more tolerable. Oh heck, I almost got rid of it completely. Well, that's cool. Wasn't that much of it there then. It was just white. It was the white that made it look like it was deeper. whatever that was, for yellowish, whatever it was that filled it in there. I think it was quartz, something along those lines. Well, that's got a pretty good shine on it, and I still got 3,000 grit to go yet. And the other side. Let me turn that around where I can keep it right side up. Makes it easier to get harder to get the, figure out which way to turn it when I got my hand upside down to get the light to reflect off of it to show you the shine. Okay, now I'm going to the 3,000 grit. This ain't going to take me 5 minutes, I don't imagine. I imagine a once over will probably take care of it right off the bat. Actually, I could probably just stop where I'm at, but I do have a little bit of cloudiness out on these outside edges. It's just looks cloudy. It looks like it's got cloudy wax on it. I think this has some kind of, here's those red lines. Let's see if I can get the light to reflect off of that properly to show up that red. Let me get my flashlight out here, maybe that'll help. From here it looks dull, or it looks dark, too dark to see the red. That'll help you see the red. Hard to get the glare off of it, but it's just got some nice little red lines in there. Kind of come up, kind of swoops, two swoops, about like a Nike swoop, except not as sharp of a turn on them. There's more of a circular tail rather than a. But it only looks cloudy. Well, I guess there are some side-to-side scratches on that. Oh well. These will get it out of there. That's what made it look cloudy. I just couldn't see them until I got it down here in better light. I can usually get these outside edges pretty good. They usually shine up better than the faces for me most of the time. But then you have some certain stones just want to fight you all the way. Especially if they got a lot of fractures and inclusions and pockets. It's like these ones here. I'm going to have to do something with these. I tumbled them because I just didn't feel like it, but then when I got to looking at them and put some light through them, it's like, crap, what'd I do that for? I couldn't see through them until I tumbled them. I couldn't even shine a flashlight through them until I tumbled them. They just had so much staining on the outside is what it was. Okay, now that that's dry, let's look it over. But I believe I'm done, and I just got my fingers wet by touching that stone, and it's not even been in this area. We get a little splatter coming out this way. Just don't expect it, but you get it. Still got a little bit of cloudy over those dark spots. And like I said, I think that's a clear with kind of some quartzy inclusion in it, or maybe a milk agate type of thing going on. And it could be kind of a schiller. Oh, I'm going to have to fix that. Got some scratches in some of that darker edge there. Must have got it too close to one of the edges when I was doing it this way, because it was right out in here. There's like 4 of them. It was about 3/16 of an inch long, just about that wide. Couldn't be for sure where they were at. So I'm checking all the way around to make sure I got them. I think they were on the thicker end. And after pulling it out of that towel, I couldn't remember which end I'd had it on. Turned it over a couple times, dried it off, and that was stupid. Nope. Got it. Ooh, wait, what's that? Yep, that's a little bit of pitting. A little bit of white pitting. It may be inclusions of some kind, but it also may be bugs. Small crystals embedded into it. Quartz crystals or something, or jasper. Yellow jasper. It's just inclusions. Oh, that's part of a fracture. I got that fracture looking so good that you couldn't tell it was a fracture anymore. And I can see it coming up around this way now. It comes back that way a little bit. Just add more water to it. A little bit of cloudy on that face, both faces still. May just be the way the light's shining on it too. I'm not holding it underneath that light like I should be. I've got 20/20 vision in one eye, and the other eye is just a little bit off of that. Not quite as good as 20/20, but not enough off to have to wear glasses for it. From after my cataract surgery, when they replaced the lenses, they had to go back in and drain this eye and cut some scar tissue off the back, where they lasered some of the scar tissue off the front. They put scar tissue on the back with the laser, and then they had to go in and cut that off. So they drained the water or the liquid out of my eye. And your body doesn't make that liquid anymore. Once your eye's filled up with it, if you lose that liquid out of that eye, you can't see that eye out of that eye anymore. And I had 20/20 vision when they took it out. When they want to put it back in, you know they can't get all of it in, because the needle that they use to eject it, the plunger stops here, so there's from here to the end of the needle still has liquid in it. I don't know if there's a way to get that out, and they can't shoot air in there to get it pushed out, because that would put air in your eye, and then they'd have to find a way to siphon that out of there. I kind of expected it to happen that way. But it's still better than have to wear glasses full time. Especially with this Bell's palsy, because I can't blink that eye all that good. I can't wear contacts anymore. I wore contacts up until I got the Bell's palsy, and then I had to quit. Well, there it is, finished product. And I'm going to use, that was the back. I'm going to use this side as the front. Well, that's what I'm going to suggest. I'll leave it up to whoever ends up with the stone. Still got a little cloudy on the edges, outside edges, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. Still got a real good shine to it. Yeah, I kind of like that. And it's not as thick as it was when I started out, so it'll make a nice cab for a necklace. Well, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Leave a comment if you if you want it to be shorter or don't mind it being long. Like I said, when I first started this, I couldn't find anything that actually showed them working on it. Let me move this over so you can see me. I couldn't find anybody that showed more than a 30-minute video on working a stone. It's just and they show you the end, you know, and they polish it. But it's all so fast forwarded that you can't see what they're doing. And they've always said just a certain pressure. Well, that's not definition of the amount of pressure I should be putting on there. That's just a certain pressure. That leaves it up to me to decide what that pressure is, and I was deciding wrong. I heard from another guy that the more pressure, that it's better to put more pressure on your steel wheels when you're using those. But I've pretty much wore these two steel wheels out in a year, or less than a year, and I haven't really done all that much with them. Not like some people have done with theirs. I don't know how long they're supposed to last. So this is the first cabin machine I've had. So I may be wrong about that. I may not have been doing it wrong, but to me it seems like it's not as aggressive as it used to be. The 80 grit and the 220 grit. And it's on these, you can see that dull or that shiny spot in the middle of the soft wheels. You can see this shiny spot here where I've pretty much got all the crystal or all the diamond grit out of that section on all of these, except for these two. This one's shiny, but this one's not. This one's still got grit all the way across. But I think I'm going to like these wheels better. I bought a set of the resin wheels. These are Nova wheels, and I bought a set of the resin wheels just because I wasn't sure about the Nova wheels, and I wanted to be able to compare them. I just haven't put those other ones on here yet. I think they'll wear out quicker because all my flat laps did, because they're cloth. They're filled with cloth. There's cloth that's got the diamond grit embedded into it, and these are some kind of a resin, or not a resin, but a rubberish silicone or something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but and then there's diamond grit embedded in it. But it seems to be fairly thick on there. Not super thick, but that other, these here, they've got they're softer with, they're fairly thick here, but it's cloth. I don't know how deep the grit goes in there. Now these are different from the ones I was using on my 8-inch. These seem to be better than the 8-inch ones. This is Covington. That 8-inch was a high-tech diamond, so there's a difference in the pads. I'm not saying those pads were any worse. I was just rough on them, I guess. Getting too impatient, holding too much pressure on them. Certain pressure. Well, enough ranting. Thanks for watching. If you like the channel, subscribe. If you don't, you can watch something else. It's no big deal to me, but I'm just trying to help. I like teaching things. I haven't had enough of that in my life. And thank you for watching, and have a good day.